What is going on, everybody? I hope everybody is enjoying their week. I hope you had a great weekend. If this is your first time to my channel, please smash that subscribe button, hit that bell notification, and welcome to my channel. My name is Black Eyed Peanut the Apple Guy, and today I'm going to be talking about why I am going to be upgrading to the GoPro Hero 9 as opposed to upgrading to the Hero 8. Now, for those of you that are new to my channel, I have been using GoPros for quite a while. I've had the Hero 3, I've had the Hero Session 5, I had the GoPro Hero 5, then I went to the Hero 6 Black, and then the Hero 6, and now my current GoPro, which is the Hero 7. So in terms of why I am jumping to the 9 as opposed to going from the 7 to the 8, there really wasn't that much of a difference between the 7 and 8 in terms of features, other than some minor things such as you now have the folding fingers or the dock things that you would connect your GoPro accessories to, instead of having the cage, which is what you get on almost all GoPros up until the 8. You now have that introduced in the 8 as terms of it being all-in-one, and I didn't really see a reason to upgrade to that. Now in terms of just from the 7 to the 9, there's a lot going on in there in terms of just what it has, and I'm not going to kind of go into too much of the details, so I'll be doing an unboxing of that. So again, stay tuned for the unboxing of that GoPro Hero 9. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button, that way you don't miss that video. So in terms of just differences between the 9 and the 7, there is a ton of differences. One being the ability to shoot at 5K at 30 frames on the Hero 9 as opposed to on the Hero 8 and the Hero 7. You don't have that option. But again, even if that's not a good reason to update from any of the previous models, one being the preview screen on the front, as well as what is known as horizon lock. Now this is something that was just introduced in the 8, but I wouldn't really say it's something that was introduced as the only way you can actually access the horizon lock was through the app. Now with the introduction of the 9 and the front-facing camera, you get that ability to do that whether you're shooting the GoPro sideways, normal, or whatever way. Even if you have it crooked, you can actually correct that in the GoPro itself, and why it's called horizon lock. So it always keeps the view centered as opposed to however the GoPro is turned. So if it's crooked this way, then the video is crooked. If it's sideways, then the video is sideways. It will always keep it looking horizontal, and that's a cool feature. And I don't know why they didn't put that in the 8. They only let you do it in the app. It didn't seem like that made sense to me. But that is one of the features that's pretty cool with the 9, as well as the introduction of night lapse mode, which basically allows you to do time lapse, and that instead of in the daytime, you can do the nighttime, and you can do it in pretty much all the resolutions. I believe 4, 2.7, 1080. So I'm not really sure how the sensors, how well the sensor works in the dark. I know that with my GoPro, when I try to shoot anything in dark or in the nighttime, it doesn't really translate very well in terms of just, it doesn't really show well in terms of low light performance, as opposed to, like, say, obviously with the camera with better sensors is able to function better in low light situations. So I'm assuming that the GoPro Hero 9 does improve on that ability, which is kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to doing that when I unbox the Hero 9. And then there's also the introduction of 5K at 30 frames, as opposed to with the 7 and the 8 only being currently limited to 4K at 30 frames or 60 frames a second, as well as something that I would have thought they would have put in the 8, but they did not. They put it in the 9. That is the front-facing LCD screen. So if you're familiar with DJI Osmo's action camera that they came out with, I believe it was last year, or it might have been 2018, one of the two, that introduced the front-facing LCD screen in color. So basically with all GoPros up until the 9, all you got was a kind of monochrome color, just the gray and the black, and it only would show you like a little bit of information such as the time running when you're doing a video, and with your micro SD card how much space you have on it, whether you're taking videos or whether you're taking photos, and then just the battery life, and that was pretty much it. So you really couldn't tell what the video looked like in terms of whatever last setting you set it on. So if you're using it in, say, a super wide view, you simply turn it on, hit record, it's going to be in the last view of whatever you had. And so you can't really tell what's going on with it until you actually look at it and post-edit and kind of edit it around. And I find that just very problematic in some senses, because especially if you want to use the GoPro as a vlogging camera, which you can do. It does make it very difficult because you don't know what the camera view is going to look like, as well as, again, with horizon lock, you can always keep the camera will always be locked in a center mode. So again, if you're vlogging and you kind of have the GoPro like this, the camera will always have it flush. It won't be sideways or tilted any other way. It's just always horizon locked. And again, I don't know why they didn't introduce it in the 8. Like I said, you can only do that in the app and not on the 8 itself. So that just seemed kind of weird to me why they didn't want to do that. But again, here we are with the 9. Now, in terms of accessories and all of the other things that you would get with GoPro, in terms of it being GoPro, you'll still be able to use the same accessories that you got if you had the 7, the 8, the 6, or whichever other GoPro. With the introduction of what is known as the finger feet, as they call it on the GoPro website, you basically no longer get the cage that you would normally put a GoPro in and then take it off and then put it on other accessories. It's actually built into the machine, so you gotta do is just flip it out, take your screw, stick it on another GoPro accessory and screw it in. I actually find that actually very useful. In terms of batteries, unfortunately, with the ability to shoot 5K at 30 frames, you also now have a battery that's going to be much bigger. What do I mean by that is basically with the 7 and the 8, if I needed to swap out a battery and I have one extra battery, one in my 8 and then one in my 7, I simply can take this out of this one, stick it in my 8 if it's running low, and then keep going with my video recordings. With the 9, it being much bigger, I don't know about thicker, but I know it's much larger. The batteries for the 7 and the 8 will not work on the 9, but I believe it's because now that you're shooting at a higher frame rate, the battery is going to need to be much more bigger to give you more juice. So with the 7 and the 8, you get a 1200 milliamp battery, and with the 9, you get a 1700 milliwatt amp battery, which basically means that the battery is going to be much taller than it would be on the Hero 8 and the Hero 7. So therefore, if you try to use the batteries for the 8 or the 7 or the 9, it's just not going to work. So that's just actually something that just happens. It makes sense in terms of GoPro when it comes to, obviously, when you want to shoot at higher frame rates, you're obviously going to need more battery to keep that resolution and to not worry about the battery draining. As soon as you turn it on, switching it to 5K 30 frames, bam, there goes your battery. It dies flat out. So in terms of just being able to switch from one thing to the next in terms of just accessory wise, you can do the 7 and the 8. They pretty much all the accessories will work on that, including the 9. But when it comes to batteries, unfortunately the 9, you cannot use the batteries for the 8 or the 7 with the 9, as it being a much taller device. And other than that, that's pretty much all that I have right now. So again, I'll be doing an unboxing of the GoPro Hero 9, and I will be doing a comparison between my 7 and the 9. Not as extensive as you've seen in other YouTubers who are using them. I'm going to actually do a comparison between how I have my GoPro Hero 7 set up versus when I get my 9, and then set it up in the same exact thing. I'll have them both shooting at 4K at 30 frames, but then just kind of showing you how I shoot my stuff on a more daily basis. So stay tuned for that video. And again, if you're not subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification, that way you don't miss an unboxing. And I'll also have a link in the description for my kit profile that I have for all my GoPro accessories that I've used in the past and still use with my current GoPro, as well as when I get the 9, I'll be adding some more stuff to that list as time goes by. And then I have a link in the description for my playlist of my GoPro stuff. So I've done in the past, I have a playlist of all the GoPros that I've done comparisons with that I've owned, as well as some product reviews on some GoPro stuff that I think you might find actually useful. So I'll have, again, those links in the description down below. And that is everything. So stay tuned for that unboxing of that video. And if this is your first time here, my name is Black Apino the Apple Guy, and I want to thank everybody for watching, and have a great week.